Hey, I'm Robert Heidemann at Delmar Mortgage. I'm here with Kim Coleman. We continue June Home Ownership Month. We've talked to you about the process that loan goes through. We intake all the questions, we process your file, we underwrite the file, and then once it's approved, the file goes to the closing department to do what? Kim, you've been here 8 years, so what does closing do with the title company? Who's in charge of what?
Well, we work with the title company to balance the final CD, the closing disclosure. We make sure title has the most current update numbers, and then they send us theirs and we balance and then get it approved by you, the final loan officer has that choice.
And there's always some conflict or some confusion because we would love to send the homeowners, our borrowers, numbers right away, but we still have to wait for the title company.
Right.
We don't know what their fees are.
Right. We get a preliminary closing disclosure from them sometimes, but between surveys and maybe inspections, those numbers are never final until we finish balancing. And the title company balances with the seller side as well.
Right. So the seller side, because if you're watching it as a buyer, a seller side might be, they may have prepaid their water bill, the sewer lateral bill. There could be a homeowners association, which we don't know about until the title company comes back to us.
Yeah, prorations.
Prorations.
Tax proration credits and tax prorations for the trash, assessments.
Right, those neighborhood
depending
assessments.
on what neighborhood, St. Louis City has certain different assessments like the trash or sewer.
Okay, so it's June Home Ownership Month. We're about halfway through this year. The seller has to give a credit for the property taxes
Correct.
every day of this year that the buyer has not owned the property.
Up until the day of closing.
Up until the day of closing, but I thought we don't know what the taxes are until the end of the year. So does the title company estimate? Do they use the last year's number?
They estimate from the last year's numbers, right?
Got it. So we see clients, this is where you could get into just a misunderstanding, if you will. You can get a credit from the seller for property taxes every day of this year you have not owned the house, but it's based on last year's taxes.
Correct.
In every odd year around St. Louis, it's a reassessment year. So are we expecting the taxes to go down or up this year, knowing the municipalities?
Oh, I think up.
I think up, right?
Sure.
Right. What taxing organization is going to drop taxes? So here's the kicker. Within closing, you're not going to get the full amount of credit you deserve. By the time November rolls around and we figure out what the taxes should have been from the seller, the credit to you, you're probably going to be short a little bit, but you can't go back and ask for a refund. So last question. If the day of closing, we find out from the realtor that the final walkthrough had some damage and now there's a seller credit of $2,000. How easy is it to get that updated? Is it an instant thing or are there hoops to
We
jump
have to
through?
send it back to the underwriter just to make sure it still fits with the guidelines. But yeah, I mean, we can add it to the closing disclosure, and as long as it does fit with all the guidelines and the underwriter approves it, we add it, have them sign the new closing disclosure, and
Right.
yeah, it should work.
So it should be an easy process, but it's a little time consuming because it's not just adding a $2,000 credit to one document. There's multiple pieces to that
We need
puzzle.
a contract addendum, and
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, Kim Coleman at Delmar, she's closing. We planned our blue and white stripes today. That's awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we brought you some good information.